Meet my 1980 Volkswagen Rabbit, affectionately known as Project Stepchild. I have a true affinity for these cars. I think these cars are so awesome. I ended up finding this one on Marketplace, and within 5 minutes of seeing it, I responded, and I actually lucked out. You know, there's a lot of people interested in this car, and I thought it was pretty cool, and I couldn't let it pass. You know, these cars don't come across the Marketplace that often, and when you see something like this, you really got to kind of pop on it. But you know, the longer I've had it, originally I bought it as a parts car for a donor door for my other car because I couldn't even seem to find a door anywhere. And so when I looked at it, the door was mint. I thought for sure I could make a deal with it. So made a deal, ended up taking the car home. And the more I look at this car, the more I really think, you know, I can't part this car. I have to keep it. You know, there's so many unique things that are, you know, I have to admit, I've never seen a car, a Mk1 like this unmolested. Yeah, it's missing headlights, but that's really about it. There's some pretty unique parts about this car that I think it just can't be parted. It's got to live on. So let's check some of those out. As you can see, the dash is the brown wood grain, which I think is pretty cool, and it's actually in really good shape. There's not a lot wrong with, you know, the dash. For the most part, the bezel is in amazing condition. Nothing's worn. You know, everything's in kind of tip-top shape as that's concerned. As you can see there, it's only got 131,000 original kilometers, so it's a pretty low-K car for a Canadian car. You can see the radio delete cubby there. I thought that was pretty neat. When I brought the car home, actually, over in the glove box here, I'll show you, I was able to find an original radio delete panel, which you don't see all that often. It's pretty neat. Those go right here from the factory. They're not all that common, so I thought that was pretty cool. As you can see down on the floor here, we've got the 4-speed center console, again in brown. Carpets obviously need some love, as so do the seats. The seats are pretty tired. You know, they've seen better days, especially the driver's seat. But the rear seat, if I can get this back seat open here. The rear seats are actually in pretty good shape. Has the rear partial shelf there. It's even got the straps intact. As you can see, the roof is in really good shape. It needs to be cleaned, obviously, but it's not hanging down or anything like that. It's got all the straps that usually came in the original Mk1s. You know, door jambs are all real rust free. You know, there's some data on the car there, but you know, it's pretty cool. It's a really cool car to use, and like I said, I really don't want to park this car out. I'll show you some other stuff here. It's got a little bit of rust on the outside fenders and that kind of thing, but down in the common places, like the battery tray is still in mint shape. The strut towers, not even a remote piece of rust anywhere there. Same thing with the passenger side. They're both super clean. Even up in behind there, did a bunch of checking on that. They're pretty clean. I guess up here is kind of the closest we have, but there's not, that's just paint chipped off, right? It's got, it's not rust through or anything like that, so I'll give that a clean up. You know, when it comes to the whole engine compartment, everything is there. Even the little old school EGR set up on the airbox. The airbox isn't cut. You know, you can see there's some little mice or something, rats got into this. Obviously when it was stored, it's chewed a bit of these as well. So the coolant, we'll have to take a look at that, see how this engine's set up. You know, even the fan shroud is mint. I mean, you don't see that very often either. You know, let's keep going around the car. This fender here clearly has been resprayed at some point. You can tell the whole car is faded, minus this fender, and you can tell it's kind of peeled off where it shows the original paint. So this has obviously been in some minor tap or had the fender had a little bit of work or something on it. It does have a little bit of rust in the front nose side here, so I'm probably going to end up changing this fender anyways. But you know, the rest of the car, you know, you got your usual Mk1 rust on certain parts of the fender, like obviously down low in this section here there's a little bit. So just quick fender replacements probably on both sides will clear a lot of that up. You know, it's got the mirrors there, or sorry, not the mirrors, the side windows that open up. You know, I don't have that in my other Mk1, which I kind of wish I did. You know, this car's it's all a lot of dirt. It's not rust. You know, it looks like it from far away, but you know, the car's actually a pretty clean looking car, especially the back side. You know, Rabbit L and everything's there. It's even got the chrome trim along the bottom. You know, even when you get into the wheel wells, there's no rust on the wheel wells either. You know, they're all pretty solid. Trim is solid. The rockers are all solid. There's no issues there. There's even I was worried about when I brought the car home if they'd ever taken the gas cap off, if this was going to be all rusty. I don't know if you're going to be able to see right now, but it's actually not rusty, which is weird because every Mk1 I've ever owned has had a ton of rust in there. This one's still pretty mint, so I'm hoping the fuel inside isn't obviously going to drain it, but hopefully it hasn't rusted the tank too bad, because usually you see a lot of rust up in here. The end of the cap isn't bad either, which, you know, I've seen Mk1s that are out driving that have worse fuel systems than this, so that's a positive thing. The car does need a really good cleanup. It's got a lot of that favorable patina all over it. Same thing with the roof. You know, the rain rails have got a ton of crap in them, and the roof's got all kinds of age. I'll show you the back of the car here. It's super clean in back here too. Hopefully the lighting's not terrible. You can see the strut towers in the back are completely rust free as well. You know, and they're just super clean. You got the mat in the bottom. Mat needs a little bit of cleaning. You can see there's window regulators we left in the back here. There's also one of the lips for the front of the car, which I thought was pretty cool. It's got a small break in it where my hand is here, but maybe I can fix that. The rest of it seems like it's in real good shape, so it'd be nice to throw that back on one day. You know, the parcel tray in the back here, the straps are still great shape on both sides. You know, the gas struts even hold the single gas strut even holds the door up. You know, I rarely see that anymore. You can see back in the interior here is from the back side still pretty clean. I mean, those seats are terrible, but the car is definitely cleanable. It's got the side pads in there that came from the factory. You know, those aren't missing. The rear washer bottle is still in great shape. I don't think I've ever used that in my Mk1, but nevertheless, got the small taillight option in the back, just like all European cars are. And you know, the bumper can be polished, but I think these US bumpers are gross. Another added benefit for the collector in me was these original Volkswagen Steelies that are still on the car. Same thing with the chrome center caps. It's not very often that you find a car that still has those completely intact. Not only that, you know, they're not dented, they're not scratched, they're not damaged. You know, all four wheels are pretty much in exactly the same condition, which is pretty neat. I'm not going to be leaving them on the car, but I'm definitely not going to be getting rid of them. It's probably something I'll keep for a later date. You know, never know. Another cool thing to kind of note about this car, not that it really matters, but this car was stored on a container, and I'll add a picture here somewhere when I went and got it. From what I understand, the car has been up there for 5 or 10 plus years. And when they pulled it down for me, they never added any air to these tires. So these tires have retained their air for 5 or 10 years or whatever it's been. You know, and I rolled it right here and I didn't add any air to them either. So, you know, I don't think I've ever owned a car that keeps air in their tires, you know, that's older than the 90s. It'll keep air in the tire for more than a year, let alone 10. So that was kind of a neat little fact. But man, do I ever love this car. You know, the more I look at it, the more I fall in love with it. And I really, like I said at the beginning of this video, the only thing that's really missing is the headlights. The rest of it's all there. Grille's not broken. All the chrome trim is there. Even the lower grille plates are in mint shape as well. You know, these, like I said in the video for the back of the car, these US bumper spec are super ugly, but I'll be swapping those out at some point and giving this car a cleanup. I think the next focus for this car, should be the next video, should be a will it start. I haven't thrown a battery in it, never even tried it. I don't know who's seen this video or watching this video that knows the history of this car, but I'll try and find out if it starts. Well, thanks guys for hanging in there and checking out this car with me. Thought it was a pretty cool car. I really wanted to share it with you guys. Like I said, I bought this car originally as a parts car, hoping to use the door for my other Mk1 project. But the more I think about it, the more I look at it, I can't make peace with parting this car out. So I thought maybe I'd start a couple episodes on a build and we'll see what we can do with it. I think without question the very next thing we should do is a will it start video. I unfortunately haven't put any time or effort into this car mechanically to see how it's doing. I haven't even checked the oil, and from obvious rodent infestation, we've seen the damage to the coolant hoses and that kind of thing. But from everything I've seen, I don't really see why it wouldn't start. So anybody who maybe knows this car or is watching this video knows a little bit of the history of it, but I don't know if it was put up there parked running or there was an engine issue and that's why it became a project car. Who really knows? But I'm definitely in the position to want to find out. I thought that would be a cool thing to start. By the way, if anybody out there has a Mk1 in white that has a passenger side door that's in good shape, my other car still needs that door I'm looking for. So maybe mention something in the comments below and I'll try and hit you up. Again, I'm in Canada and right now we're dealing with the tail end of, hopefully what is the tail end of this COVID situation. So if I can get somebody who's willing to ship the door, that'd be amazing. But other than that, my name's Ryan and I'm, you can follow my other build on Mk1 Build on Instagram, and I'm sure I'm gonna start showing lots of pictures of this build and have some fun with it. But if you guys want to follow both, after this video, please like the video down the bottom, hit subscribe, and hopefully leave a comment about what you guys want to see me do with this. But I'll end this video with a little montage of this car a little bit farther and hopefully see you next episode. Thanks guys.